last 3 months I've been putting the 1300 motor back in the Citroen. It's taken a while because I haven't had too much time to work on it, and it's a few oil leaks and a few running issues here and there. But it's nearly ready to all go back together. I'm just working on the exhaust system at the moment. Bits that just needed fixing on the old engine anyway, so it's nothing special really. I've actually just bought a new project, so I thought I'd show you guys that. So it's a 1974 DS Special. I'm not quite sure what the different models' names mean, but it's something I can look into. It was bought brand new at the end of 1974 by a doctor called Calvin Raxworth in Wellington, and he drove it till 1996 when he parked it up in his shed. We're not quite sure why he parked it. So it was last registered in 1996. You notice the big problem with it is all the surface rust on it, but from what I've seen so far, it's only really the surface rust, and there's a little bit of rust inside the doors here, but the whole car generally is pretty solid, and it's going to need repainting anyway, so that will deal with all the surface rust, and there's a few other little spots I can fix here and there, but generally the car appears so far to be reasonably solid. So as far as I'm aware, the car's complete. The air cleaner is sitting in the body. The big mystery of this is the reason why it got parked up. But I started to look at the spark plugs, and you'll see in here, this spark plug hole has been filled up with oil, and the spark plug's still in there. So I'm wondering if he's done it to try to preserve the motor. The guy was a doctor, so he obviously had a few brains about him. So it wouldn't be unrealistic for him to do something like that, or it's been seized and he left it soaking in oil to try to free it up. Those are probably the two options I can think of. But I have to get the last of the oil out of the cylinders and see if it will turn over. You notice the bonnet is oxidised but hasn't gone rusty, because these bonnets are all aluminium compared to all the sheet metal here on the guards going rusty. It also has the lights that turn as you turn corners. I'll show you that now. So being 1974, it's actually newer than my GS, but they share some common parts. You'll notice that the door handles are the same, and even like the window washers on the bonnet are the same. And what I quite like is the interior is actually the same pattern and same colour as in my GS. This is quite cool. On the inside, there has been some work done on the doors, because there's a little bit of rust at the bottom of the doors, and I think that's the doctor who originally owned it, maybe when he parked it up. That could be one of the reasons why it got parked, is to fix the rust in the doors, but I'm not quite sure. But I've got the door cards down here. The interior looks reasonably nice. The headlining's all intact pretty well. The front seats are a little bit rough, but it's got to be expected because it's done quite a few Ks. I think, I'm not sure the exact number, but I think it's been around the clock at least once or twice. Yeah. It's quite funny some of the stuff that's been left behind in it. Like, he left his barley sugars in there, which he obviously just parked it and didn't really check the glove box or anything, and there's toilet paper and napkins, and he even had an old first aid kit in here that all dried up and stuff. Like there was notepads and stuff. Just change. This is also in here. I think it's off the heater system, one of the heater fans maybe is my guess. I don't think it's anything too big to worry about at the moment. You see what the air cleaner is sitting down here. And down here is the height control lever. Unlike my GS, it has it in the middle, it's got it down here by the passenger's seat. And the steel rod goes the whole length of the car, width of the car, coming down to here. I haven't quite figured out the gear change in it yet. In the owner's manual, he's actually got where he's written it out on a piece of paper. But I haven't quite figured it out yet, but once I get a car running, I'll be able to sort those things out. What I've seen so far is in here is probably the worst rust. Just on the passenger's door. It's where, when the rain's come down the window screen, it's rust down here and it's sealed against the door a little bit. But I don't think it's a major. I can just cut a strip and re-weld it in here. The whole outside door needs repainting anyway, so it's not a big issue. Well, as I really want to get the GS done before I get distracted on this, otherwise I'll probably never get back together. But I might have a little play around with the motor and see if I can get it turning over. Apart from that, you won't see much of this car for the next few months probably.